Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kavika, and I am the Squared Circle Scholar. And today, I will be doing my predictions for Money in the Bank 2025. First on the card, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, we have champion Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. Now, there is a few stipulations to this match. If Lynch loses, she is no longer allowed to go for the Women's Intercontinental Championship as long as Lyra is still champion. And then if, Becky wins, Lyra has to acknowledge Becky as the better woman of the two. I don't know, this match I'm not really looking forward to. This feud is just kind of thrown together to make Lyra seem like a very viable competitor. And I don't know. I think Lyra's going to win only because if Lyra loses, that probably means she's going into the main event scene. And I don't think Lyra is at that point yet. I think she needs to hold this title, get a few more rivalries underneath her reign, and then she can be catapulted. But I do think Lyra needs to absolutely win here. Becky does not need this title. The title does not need Becky to feel prestigious. Let Lyra hold it just a, little bit longer, few more feuds, then we can, push her towards where she's trying to go, which is presumably, either the WWE or World Women's Championships. Plus, if Lyra wins, we have more chances for more new feuds. I know a lot more women have come up from NXT to the main roster, and it would be interesting to see Becky Lynch go up against those people. But I think here and now, we just need somebody new to take over. We've had Becky for so long that I would much rather see Lyra versus whoever instead of Becky versus whoever. Maybe that's just me, but I think Lyra's going to win. She needs to win. She needs to win this entire feud to seem like an actual champion, because if she doesn't, it's just kind of a whatever reign. Almost like Chelsea Green's, because she lost to Zelina Vega. Next on the card, in the men's Money in the Bank match, we have Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight versus Penta versus Seth Rollins versus Andrade versus El Grande Americano. And of course, the Money in the Bank matches are the matches everyone is looking forward to the most. And this one is no exception. We have so many people in this match that I don't think I would be mad if anyone won, to be honest with you. Let's start off with Seth. A lot of people don't want Seth to win because, he's had many world titles. He's won the Money in the Bank match before. But it would be kind of interesting to see him with his new feud and the Money in the Bank briefcase, because he's already the leader, and he's trying to get a world title out of this new faction. Now, I don't know how Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed fall into that fold, but hey, it's his faction. He can do whatever he wants. And then you have Solo Sikoa, who hasn't won a singles title at all yet. It'd be very interesting to see what he does, because him and Jacob Fatu have been button heads. Now, I would hope if Solo wins, he wouldn't go after Jacob, like how Austin Theory went after the United States Championship. We do not need a repeat of that. The Money in the Bank briefcase should be used primarily for world championships. I could see it being used for other championships if the story, went that way, but for the most part, it should primarily be world championships. I just know Solo Sikoa would be insanely hilarious with this briefcase. He would probably be like a boombox Brock Lesnar back in the day. I think Solo Sikoa would be a fun Mr. Money in the Bank. LA Knight is probably the least person I would want to win, His time was, what, 2 years ago when he was insanely over. And don't get me wrong, he's still over. He's still over. He's just not as over. He's been kind of just floating around in the mid-card scene. And yes, this would be the way to catapult him into the main event scene. I don't know. I just feel like you could pick any of the 5 guys and I would be much happier. Not that I would be disappointed that LA Knight won, but I just don't know who he faces. Does he go LA Knight? Does he go John Cena? John Cena might be interesting because they were tag team partners once. And this leaves me to the last 3 guys, which all happen to be luchadors for some reason. Penta, El Grande Americano, and Andrade. Now, here's the thing. If I had to pick somebody I want to absolutely win this, it's Penta. He's insanely over with the crowd. You could easily slot him into the main event scene. It's like almost a no-brainer. But Andrade has to be given his flowers as well. Him in that feud with Carmelo Hayes was absolutely insane. I would not be mad at all if he was Mr. Money in the Bank. But I don't think they'll do that because of Damian Priest in the past. He was Senor Money in the Bank, and I don't know if they would do that with Andrade, but Andrade, I think, would be a good Money in the Bank holder, right? He puts on good matches. He's a decent promo. You ain't got to be the greatest guy. Just look at Jey Uso at promos. So I would not be mad at all if Andrade won. And now we go to the guy who I think is going to win the entire thing. And it's going to be El Grande Americano. And the only reason I think he's going to win is going to be a little later on in the video. Because you'll see. I promise you'll see. I promise I won't forget about it. Next on the card, we have the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez versus Rhea Ripley versus Julia versus Naomi versus Stephanie Vaquer. I'm just going to come right out the gate. I don't think Julia or Stephanie are winning this Women's Money in the Bank match. The only reason I say this is because they haven't been on the main roster long enough for the fans to get adjusted to them. Don't get me wrong. They're amazing in the ring. Absolutely amazing. I just don't think the fans are ready for them. We need to see more of them to fully get a grasp of who they are, why they're here, so on and so forth. Which then gives me the exact opposite reason for why Rhea Ripley is not winning this match. She's already held the title so many times. She does not need this briefcase. She could probably go out to Monday Night Raw and be like, I want a match against you, whoever the champion so happens to be at that point. And she would probably get her way because Adam Pearce he just lets everything go to hell. He lets everything go, which now once again leaves me with 3 people. Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, and Naomi. Now, I don't think Roxanne Perez is going to win either, only because she's now wrapped up in this whole Judgment Day thing. I think they're going to do a feud between her and Liv Morgan, and then Liv and Dom are probably going to leave the Judgment Day, leaving, let me think now, that would be, well, Liv, Dom, and Raquel would leave, so that would leave Finn, JD, and Roxanne as the new Judgment Day because, Carlito's gone for some reason. And this same reason applies to Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa Bliss is going to be stuck in the Wyatt Six situation. I don't know if she's going to join them. I don't know if she's going to be against them. I don't exactly know. But I have this really, really good feeling that she's like, the story's right there. I know WWE doesn't like to give us the story that's like, here you go, you can have it. I know they don't like doing that, but it feels like this is the route that it's going to go. She's on SmackDown. They're on SmackDown. It just seems inevitable. And speaking of inevitabilities, Naomi is winning the women's Money in the Bank. I think this is everyone's prediction that Naomi will win because she deserves it. She's done a complete 180 from babyface to heel in an actual entertaining way. When she's on screen, it's not cringe. She's legit crazy. I kind of wish she would get out of the Bianca Jade vortex that they've been stuck in for, I don't know, a year now. I want Naomi to win this women's Money in the Bank ladder match and go on to either face Tiffany Stratton or Iyo Sky. Either one of those matches is gonna be a banger match. I don't care who it is. I don't even care if it's a match. She can run in, cash it in, pin him 1, 2, 3. Crowd goes crazy. I'd be totally happy with that. I would prefer though that she go after Iyo Sky, so that way she would go to Raw and leave, the Jade and Bianca vortex over on SmackDown. That would be nice. I don't see that happening. I think if she wins, she's gonna go after Tiffany and stay within that women's main event scene over on SmackDown. But I hope she goes to Raw. I really do. Please, WWE. And finally, our main event, probably Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. I really hate when WWE takes a world champion and puts him into a tag team match that really doesn't help out with their storyline or any storylines they're in. And this is the case with Jey Uso. And not only that, it is also the case with John Cena. Why are both our world champions stuck in a tag team match? What are we doing? And I have a sneaky suspicion that WWE is just going to waste the men's Money in the Bank briefcase on this match. That is why Jey and John are both taken up in a tag team match, because when El Grande Americano wins later on in the night, he's gonna trot down there, cash in, and have his pick of the litter. Does he want, to be the WWE champion, or does he want to be Jey? Now, the only reason I think this is going to happen is because El Grande Americano will win the briefcase, but Chad Gable is going to cash it in. It's going to happen. He's going to cash it in. They're going to ring the bell, ding, ding, ding. I think he's going to pin somebody, whether that's Jey or John. It really doesn't matter in this scenario. And then everything's just going to break loose. Everything's going to break loose because somebody's going to come out being like, Chad, you did not win Money in the Bank, this, that, and the other. And then he's going to admit that he is El Grande Americano, and nobody's going to believe him. Nobody's going to believe him. They're going to just gaslight him into believing that nothing has happened of El Grande Americano and Chad Gable for the past, since WrestleMania or a little bit before WrestleMania. And I hate the idea that WWE might just waste the men's Money in the Bank briefcase right off rip. But if they do it in this way, I think it could cause a very interesting storyline where later down the road, there will be an eventual match of Chad Gable versus El Grande Americano for the briefcase. Oh, I hope they do that. And that this would happen because Chad cashes in the briefcase, but it's not his to cash in. So he challenges El Grande Americano, or, he's putting in a match, maybe like Adam Pearce goes, you'll go one-on-one against El Grande Americano for the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. I think that would be hilarious. I think that would be great. And, to say who I think is going to win, Cody and Jey versus John and Logan, if I have to choose who's going to win and there's no cash-in at all in this match, it's John and Logan. Jey and Cody are already so over. I think they want to really cement not only Logan, but Cena as a heel. And I think this is how you do it. If they're not going to cash in. If they do a cash in, El Grande Americano, Chad Gable, he's going to win, but he's not going to win. I think you know what I'm trying to say. I really hope they do this. I think it would be so cool if they did this. This would cause so much craziness in WWE, especially for the main event scene, whichever title he would decide to go for. All right, those are my predictions for 2025's Money in the Bank. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think's going to happen? Who do you think's going to win? Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. We'll find out in a few days. And hey, while you're down there, you might as well, click the little like button since, you're already watching all the way here. I'm sure you enjoyed the video. And just a little bit along the ways is the subscribe button. If you hit that and you click the little bell, you get notified every single time I upload here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next time.